Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with more iRacing. This time around we're here with more of our 2022 Season 2 content reviews. We've brought this thing to Oulton Park this week. Yes, we're back in the all-new Aston Martin Vantage GT4 car. Now, when GT4s got announced onto iRacing, nearly 3 years ago now, I think, with the BMW, I was really hyped. I thought, this is going to be the chance I'm going to jump in, fall in love with GT4 racing, and then hopefully you'll sort of carry me in with GT3s as well and everything like that. Really then haven't gelled with any of the GT4 cars that have come to iRacing. I've always found the BMW just really heavy and never felt like I could get it stopped anywhere. The Porsche that I found was just really loose and lively and just couldn't take curbs at all. And then the McLaren just seemed to be the worst of both worlds. Not only did it feel heavy and couldn't get it slowed down, it also then would fly off curbs with no tomorrow. So maybe today, the Aston Martin Vantage can finally be a car that I fall in love with in the GT4 class. Like I said, it's always been a class of cars that I've wanted to race more on the sim, but have just never got round to it. But yeah, 2022 Season 2, maybe today, can be that day there. Like I said, I brought it to Oulton Park International, a track that went massively under the radar for so many years on iRacing, but finally now seems like it's getting the love it deserves ever since it went free to play. And yeah, let's just wait and see then what this Aston Martin is going to be capable of. Let's just give it a quick sound test to begin with, actually, before I go anywhere. Pretty good, I think, for the most part. GT4's always fairly sort of lower-end engines in these things, but still definitely got that sort of V8 rumble that you would expect from a car like this. Not too sure why you got a portable DVD player on the dash immediately, but yeah, let's just do a few laps then in this thing and see what it's like on the sim. Like I said, never really have gelled with any of the GT4 cars, and yeah, fingers crossed today I can finally find one that I actually love, as I don't think that corner's ever quite going to be flat out in a GT4. It's always sort of squeaky bum time in a GT3. But I think this has always been the reason why I've struggled with the GT4 cars. It's normally not too much wrong with the cars, it's just I try to drive them like a GT3 car, and a bit like the F4 car that we did a video in a couple of days ago. If you haven't gone back and checked out that video, I would definitely recommend doing so. You can't really drive this thing like sort of the cars above it in its ladder of progression. It doesn't drive like a GT3 car by any means there. You've got to be super patient with it, super careful. And of course, everything like the braking zones are just that little bit bigger, everything like that. And it's sort of very, very difficult trying to sort of adjust from, sort of spending years learning GT3s and everything like that, to then move to a GT4 car that just kind of feels sluggish in comparison, which is perhaps why I've struggled with some of them so often, as tipping it in around the back half of the lap. Doesn't seem too desperate to point itself to apexes immediately, but we'll let it build up some tyre temps, everything like that, before we start judging it too much on that sort of thing. Actually using my GT3 rim as well for this one today. Been a while actually since I used this McLaren rim, just never really had the chance in recent months. But yeah, let's go for our first sort of proper lap then here at Oulton Park, as we're slowly getting everything up to temperature. Like I said, I feel for me, just the whole big thing is about trying to put myself in the mindset of actually just making sure you're braking early, making sure you're getting the car turned in just that little bit sooner, and yeah, just trying to keep it pointed in the right direction. Now, these things still got traction control ABS, so they won't snap round on you particularly badly, unless, of course, yeah, you drop them off a curb, which is always, like I said, the problems I found with the McLaren and the Porsche. But I feel like this one is going to head more towards the BMW's handling model. A little bit heavier, engine back at the front, so a bit more planted as well, which could be really, really useful. But nice to see, iRacing, let's not beat around the bush here. The main reason they're bringing more GT4 cars is, of course, all the pressure that comes from Assetto Corsa Competizione, of course, taking a big share of the market nowadays. But ACC's got a few more things up its sleeve at the moment. We saw a trailer a couple of days ago for some new potential content that might be in the works, so we'll have to wait and see as to what's confirmed there. I don't know if it's going to be cup cars or whether we're going to see a couple of new tracks, everything like that. You just don't know yet with Assetto Corsa Competizione, but I'm sure, yeah, iRacing, I mean, they've always got plenty of stuff in the work as well. But yeah, two very, very different sims that are just treading on each other's toes a little bit more year on year as well. I mean, if it gives us better content and everything like that, who are we to complain at the end of the day there as we tip it in through the final corner, though. Must admit, a little bit of a snap there from the back end. I'm liking this thing so far. I feel it's doing pretty well. It's sort of driving how I'd want it to and how I'd expect it to. Because again, you know, I'm not the most versatile driver in the world. I certainly like a car to handle in a way that works for me. And immediately down onto a 144, then no idea if that's any good or not, truth be told. But yeah, we'll wait and see as to what sort of proper lap times we'll do. We'll do a couple more laps, sort of slowly getting used to it, and then we'll jump in and do sort of a proper attack mode lap and give you guys a little bit of engine sound as well. But yeah, I've always sort of had a weird affinity with Aston Martin GT4s. Many years ago now, what, 4 years ago I want to say? I drove a fake one of these as such in Forza Motorsport in the TORA British GT Championship, which was always really good fun there, you know, sort of had a lot of laughs with that thing. It wasn't the quickest car in its class, you know, BOP noises everywhere, but always sort of felt like I could drag quite a lot out of it, and always had quite a lot of fun in it as well. And, you know, we were sort of representing a real British GT team as well, which is always quite cool. But yeah, I've just never sort of really gelled with the GT4s on iRacing, but I think if anything's going to convince me to, the Aston Martin would certainly be my car of choice at the moment. But of course, once we get setups, everything like that for it, you know, it'd be very interesting to see how it plays out now in the BOP, sort of where it fits in. It was always, yeah, the Porsche was very good at the low-speed stuff, the BMW was very good at the high-speed stuff, and the McLaren was kind of not particularly brilliant at either. You'd imagine, therefore, it'd be a brilliant all-rounder, but never quite seemed to be the case with the McLaren. But the Aston Martin, like I said, definitely focused more towards the BMW end of the spectrum, which I think, for me, yeah, was definitely going to be the car that sort of suited my style a little bit more. Down in towards the 53s now, so we are finding a little bit more pace as we sort of get everything working there and just trying to explore a little bit with the limits now of the car, sort of seeing how much we can lean on the brakes, how much you can sort of ride the tyres, everything like that, because of course, yeah, really in these things, I'm never really convinced you need traction control in a GT4 car. You know, they've got a lot of downforce still, you know, they have got a fair bit of sticking power, the tyres are pretty good as well, so always just a little bit worried that actually traction control sometimes can be more of a hindrance than a help in these sorts of things. You know, I personally am a driver that just likes that little bit of slip from the back end, sort of allows me to push just a little bit more with it. But yeah, I mean, we're finding more time there as we chuck it over that curb. See, pretty stable on the exit there. You know, we're leaning on the car a whole lot more, and it is working with us. This is reassuring. I'm liking this thing so far. But anyway, down in towards the chicane there. Still doesn't feel particularly brilliant under braking, but again, that's just based on a lot of my time around Alton in sort of little Mazdas, Radicals, and mainly GT3 cars, to be honest. It's sort of where I base most of my experience on the sim. You know, would love to do a bit more Formula racing around here, everything like that as well. But yeah, let's get ready then to try and go for a proper sort of attack mode lap in this car as we get all nice and wide out over the curbing. We're still finding a lot of pace though in it, so yeah, let's just get ourselves prepared. Third gear out the final corner. So, going to give you guys a little bit of audio as well, and let's try and really smash a lap then here at Alton Park. getting out then of the final corner. We're not even going to actually find the time over the lap we just did, but it is going to be about a 1:42.5. So not a bad little lap there, nonetheless. And yeah, definitely don't want to engine brake in this thing. We learnt that as we went down through the chicane around the back half of the lap there. Yeah, that almost tried to snap round on me in that moment, but luckily we just about sort of got it figured out there. Feel like you've got to do a lot more braking than I've just done there. But a lot of braking still in this thing sort of before you get the front end pointed in, which again really does sort of suit the style I quite like in a race car. Now I kind of like, I'm very, very weird. I like quite an understeery car for the most part, sort of on entry, and then, you know, I don't mind a little bit of slip from the front end on corner exit. But yeah, this thing does not like to engine brake. You know, it doesn't like to rev particularly high. So I've got a lot of torque, you know, V8 motor in the front there. It really does like to try and use all sort of the lower end torque to really get the thing going. But I'm liking this thing. I'm enjoying it. I think this might, like I said, if I was going to go back to GT4 now, which, you know, if they did like a GT4 Spec series, I probably would, you know, just because I really do like using the TCRs in the IMSA Pilot Challenge. This thing could definitely be a car that I can convince myself to jump in with as well, though, which would be rather cool to try and have a go. But yeah, I mean, it depends sort of what you want from your GT4 car at the end of the day. You know, if you've sort of gelled quite well with the BMW, I think this thing might be a good little choice for you. It just feels a little bit more willing to sort of get into the corners over the BMW. But, you know, if you sort of suited the Porsche or the McLaren a lot more sort of... First of all, how on earth do you like the McLaren is my first question. But yeah, if those cars were sort of more your style, then this might not be the car for you. You know, if you're only out there trying to find more and more pace on iRacing. But I'm a big fan of the new Aston Martin. Always with iRacing, you sort of get that level of polish that you would expect as well, and that certainly hasn't come away on this Aston there. And yeah, like I said, you know, if you want a proper new Aston Martin, I think the only thing we've still got on the sim is the old GT1/GT2 DBR car there. But yeah, I'm a fan. Aston Martin, you've done a good job with this thing, and maybe we'll jump into some GT4 racing during 2022 Season 2 there. But thank you all so much for watching this little video nonetheless. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like and get yourself subscribed. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon. We've got Brazilian stock cars and the new TCR car to give a go at some point, so definitely you want to make sure you're back here for those.